Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Yesterday in my video I've mentioned the birds, pigeons, that are going to have installed certain neurotechnology into their brains so they can be monitored, so they can monitor people in the cities. Today we will go more into what's going on in China at this moment, what kind of robots are going to welcome you when you arrive to China. That's probably will be the experience of many people very soon, as well as the cockroaches that have a similar option of monitoring people. What country is going to do that? And is Elon Musk going to block the sunlight? That's right, you heard me correctly. An interesting post I came across that I will share with you. But before we start, I want to say thank you to James, who donated on my PayPal account yesterday. And now I want to take you to Charlie Kirk's story before we go into all those robots and artificial intelligence and monitoring and control and surveillance, etc. Two people I want to play a video with. The first one is going to be Charlie Kirk's mentor, and that is, his name is, to be precise, let me show you right here, because this is quite interesting how they are presenting things now. His name is Frank Turek. We're gonna play this video because here he's making some statements that are quite interesting. Is he saying that Candace Owens, she did that? Like she ordered Charlie Kirk to be removed? This is just crazy, guys. So let me mute myself. Let's take a listen to what he has to say. He was a mentor of Charlie Kirk. And actually, he was also American apologist. He's an author and speaker and is the founder and president of the ministry Cross-Examined. So let's take a listen. What is his opinion about Candace Owens and who really did it? Who killed Charlie Kirk?
As we all know, Candace Owens is spinning a lot of suggestions that there's all sorts of conspiracies out there about who killed Charlie. It's fine to ask questions. It's fine to suggest that maybe this happened, maybe that happened, but it's not fine to insinuate that people are guilty of murder or they're in some sort of murder conspiracy unless you have really strong evidence. My friend Mikey McCoy, whom I talked to today, is getting death threats. I get what appear to be death threats. You never know what can happen to you. In fact, before Charlie, these gentlemen were not with me.
So I stop for a moment. So Candace Owens is not getting death threats, right? They are the victims. Interesting.
Charlie, we didn't even have a police officer in the back of the room. Why do we need that now? The Bible is very clear. You need 2 witnesses to convict somebody. You don't gossip. You don't slander people. Unfortunately, I think too much of that is going on. So far, I've heard that Candace and others, it's not just Candace, have suggested Netanyahu killed him, Israel killed him, Trump killed him, TPUSA killed him, Mikey McCoy, his dad Rob McCoy had something to do with it, the FBI, Egypt. I heard France today. I thought all France did was surrender. Let me ask you a question, ladies and gentlemen. Unless those possible culprits in Charlie's murder all work together on some grand conspiracy, that most of what is being said about this has to be false. Do you see the point? If you're going to suggest all these different people are involved, they can't all be involved. It strains credulity to say they're all somehow involved. Maybe one of them did it. But that means most of what's being said about this is false. And what if the guy who actually has been charged with the crime really did it? Then every single thing that is being said regarding conspiracies, if he acted alone, is certainly false. Now, the trial is probably not going to be for at least another year. We can't keep spinning conspiracy theories without evidence. People are going to get hurt. So I plead, if you're watching this kind of stuff, or you know people that are, you need to say, hey, it's okay to ask questions. It's not okay to insinuate. People are guilty unless you have really strong evidence. In fact, if I were to say, I really think Candace Owens did this. I really think she did. You know why? Because Charlie stopped inviting her to the big events. And she thought if she could get rid of Charlie, then maybe they'd ask her to be the head of Turning Point. And she's bringing all this up, citing all these other people to cover her own tracks. And I really think she's jealous of Erica too. I think she's the one that did this. This all checks out. Would that be fair? No, it's not fair. It's ridiculous. I have no evidence for it. But I submit to you, that appears to be what she's doing, knowingly or unknowingly, to people for which she has no evidence they were involved. I need to say one other thing about this. Candace makes a big deal of Mikey McCoy turning away and immediately getting on his phone when Charlie was shot. She said there's only 3 possible things you can do in a situation like this. You either run toward the problem, you run away from the problem, or you freeze. Candace Owens doesn't know what she's talking about here. Because these men in these rooms will tell you that when a traumatic event occurs, if they're trained to do something, they automatically do it. I was in the Navy. We had emergency procedures. You practice those emergency procedures over and over again, so when the disaster strikes, you don't even have to think. You just do it. Why did I run to get in the car? Because I thought beforehand, if Charlie ever gets shot and I'm there, I'm going to do whatever I can to help. Didn't even need to think about it. Charlie drilled into Mikey, who at the time was only 23 years old. Drilled into him. If anything ever happens to me, the first thing you do is call Erica. Why would he run to Charlie when Charlie has 6 guys around him carrying him to the car? All he would do would be get in the way. Mikey did exactly what he was trained to do.
Okay, I know some of you like this is not important, but this just shows you how desperate all those people are, this entire circle. And it's not just this Turning Point USA. This is how the governments are. This is how the politicians are twisting all those stories. It's just pathetic, right? Absolutely pathetic. Now, quick listen to the father of this young guy he was mentioning, who is a pastor, but could be a handler as well. Those pastors, they do crazy stuff. So here is the McCoy guy. Let's take a listen to him.
To my Orthodox friends, the ones who were struggling over Charlie inviting Tucker. And you have to consider there's nowhere safe for them in the world. And they have an inclination to trust no one. And yet, in this dialogue, we went back and forth. I commend Charlie on his patience. He's remarkable. He can dialogue with Tucker and Candace and be on a text string with Orthodox rabbis. He's patient. He's gaining understanding. Dialogue. I responded to an Orthodox brother who said, Candace is far right and Ocasio-Cortez is far left, and they both hate Jews. And I responded, I said, Candace and AOC appear to operate their influence by pathos and ethos and apply very little logos. They use pathos and ethos to judge and condemn an entire race of people. This is not far right or far left. It is mob rule by emotion and perceived legitimacy void of the pursuit of truth. This is why America, for now, and I pray more so in the future, is a somewhat safe haven for Jews because we are a republic. I gave them a link to a video. This, to my Orthodox friends, the ones who were struggling.
So, the rabbis, yep, the connections. In this post, it says that Pastor Rob McCoy, TP USA darling, and God and country pastor stood in his own pulpit and delivered 100% unhinged hit piece on Candace Owens, calling her a witch, Jezebel spirit, daughter of Satan, literally said that she is possessed and practicing witchcraft for questioning Israel policy. So this is an update. What's up lately with the Charlie Kirk story? Candace Owens wasn't reporting this entire week. I came across a video that I'm not sure if this is the authentic video. Allegedly, there was a person whose voice has been changed, the one who was warning Candace about what might happen to her. So the whistleblower. But I'm not sure if this is the authentic video. Anyway, she's offline this week. That person was suggesting in order for her to stay alive, she has to remain off her channel for 90 days at least. But we're gonna see, guys. So let's shift the gears now. Let's go to, where shall we start? Let's start with the robots. Let's start with what's up with this. You remember the Economist cover. So things are already coming into fruition, even though we don't have 2026 yet. China is officially deploying humanoid robots for border patrol. The age of robotic security forces just became real. Here is what you need to know. The world is changing faster than anyone realizes. Humanoid robots are no longer prototypes. They are becoming deployed infrastructure. You remember when I showed you that robot that was interacting with Putin as well? So this is going to be in most of places, ultimately in all of the places. China is rolling out humanoid patrol robots along the Vietnam border. They will handle travel guidance, inspections, logistics, autonomous patrols, and that's just phase 1. The robot leading the shift? Walker S2 by UBTech, a machine built for real-world autonomy, no labs. Walker S2 is the first humanoid robot that can swap its own battery, giving it near 24/7 uninterrupted operations. So you can't You can't win with this one, no? No human needed to recharge it. So self-sufficient. Its capabilities are beyond any consumer robot today. 52 degrees of freedom, I don't know this word, dexterous hands, heavy load lifting, stereo vision, real-time autonomous navigation. Powered by UBTech's BrainNet 2.0 and Co-Agent AI. Walker S2 can plan tasks, reroute behavior, handle unexpected events, coordinate with other robots. This is multi-agent robotic life. And the scale is massive. UBTech has already reported 1.1 billion yuan in orders for Walker robots. Production is accelerating, 500 units to be delivered this year, 5,000 units next year, 10,000 units annually by 2027. They aren't building a robot, they are building a robot workforce. These units won't be just patrol borders, they will be deployed in steel plants, copper facilities, aluminum factories, industrial inspection sites. Robots are entering the physical world at scale. Once humanoid robots can patrol, inspect, lift, assist, guide, and run logistics, you are looking at the beginning of a parallel labor force that never sleeps. Humanoid robots aren't the future anymore. They are operational infrastructure and they are scaling fast. The world's workforce is about to change forever. So, what do you think about this, guys? Let me take you to a video now that is presenting this robot and a movement. I'm not going to play the full thing, just a little bit to give you an idea what's going to happen and what's happening already.
Especially in large countries. In China, authorities are relying on humanoid robots to handle this task. Let's learn more about this now. The Chinese company UBTech Robotics has signed a multi-million-dollar agreement to use its humanoid robots at border posts. The devices will help control the flow of people, conduct patrols, and handle logistical tasks on the border between China and Vietnam. The initiative is considered one of the largest practical implementations of humanoid robots in Beijing government operations and is part of the Chinese authorities' efforts to increase automation through significant investments in the robotics sector. The model that will be used to control the borders is the Walker S2, described by UBTech as an industrial-grade humanoid robot built to perform complex manipulation tasks. It is 1.76 centimeters tall and has an articulated body, capable of carrying up to 15 kilograms in each arm and performing movements such as squatting. One of its highlights is that the robot can replace its own discharge battery with a new one. In practice, this allows it to work without interruptions and without human intervention, considerably increasing the efficiency of operations. UBETEC intends to deliver 500 units by the end of the year and increase production tenfold next year. The goal.
So like I said, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but here you can see how it looks like. I don't know about you, but in my opinion, this looks kind of scary. It does look scary. Here you see the dogs. I want to take you to another interesting information. This is from Atlanta. Let's look at this. Let me just find this post. And apologies, guys, if you have to wait a little bit longer, but I have a lot of posts open. So let's start with this. You don't need the sound here. We're just going to look at the video. So AI-powered robot dogs now are patrolling parking lots of Atlanta. You see? So this is already happening. And I'm sure it's in New York as well and some other places. When I see those dogs, the first thing that comes to my mind is that movie, I Am the Legend with Will Smith. I don't know if you saw it. It was many, many years ago when I watched it. And I remember, I think they had those kind of dogs in that movie already. So they are now patrolling Atlanta parking lots, and robotic security guards like this are starting to show up in public spaces, quietly replacing late night patrols with cameras, sensors, and AI. Supporters say they never get tired, can deter crime, and collect footage around the clock. Critics worry about who owns that data, how it is used, and what happens when human jobs are handed to machines. If robot dogs become normal in parking lots, malls, and neighborhoods, it changes how watched people feel in everyday life. It also raises bigger questions about where AI-driven security stops, what rights people have over their image, and which jobs are next in line to be automated. This is not science fiction anymore. This is a test run for the kind of future we accept without even voting on it. Very, very true. So now, shall we go to Elon Musk and his idea? I am not sure if this is real news, but let's look into it together. Because Elon Musk wants to block sunlight from reaching the Earth. So let's read this. This is from Business Bulls here. That's the account. But I find it quite interesting. So Elon Musk has pitched one of his boldest ideas yet. A giant constellation of solar-powered AI satellites that can dim or reflect sunlight to prevent global warming. So he believes in global warming. I don't know. This concept is called space-based solar radiation management. Instead of spraying aerosols into the sky, Musk wants satellites to make tiny light adjustments from orbit. If it works, the satellites would constantly modulate sunlight intake using AI. Think of it as an automated thermostat for the planet. This is crazy. I mean, excuse me. I'm losing my voice because this is just so demonic. But here is the catch. Experts warn the risks are massive. Even a 1 to 2% dip in sunlight could disrupt crops, ecosystems, rainfall, and entire weather systems. And the engineering challenge? Insane. Near continuous global coverage, real-time AI control, flawless satellite coordination, and zero system failure. One glitch could trigger termination shock, a sudden temperature spike. Plus, who controls the sun? No global laws exist for geoengineering from space. If one country cools itself but hurts another's farm output, instant geopolitical chaos. This looks like a beast here. I don't know if you see it. Musk's advantages SpaceX, with 6,000 plus Starlink satellites already in orbit, he's closer than anyone to testing such a climate system. But it's still far from real. Alongside climate control, he sees this as a part of a bigger future. AI plus space solar power plus orbital infrastructure working together to stabilize Earth while powering humanity. Musk isn't just talking about rockets or Mars. He wants to manage Earth's climate from space using AI. A futuristic idea, risky as hell, but now part of the global geoengineering conversation. So guys, I will attach all the links down below in the description box. This is absolutely insane. I mean, the more things we are coming across, the more I see it's like madness. So there will be people who will be living in a completely different reality, because I don't think everyone will comply with this. There are people who, I mean, what you can do when he decides with the sun story, right? With this project. But imagine like living in those places where you are constantly monitored. Well, I know that some of you said yesterday, but Anya, we already have those birds in US. I understand. My point with the video yesterday, that they are doing this to those birds in Russia. I was actually, you know, I'm not that surprised now because I was coming across digital currency, the technology that was also used in the Sputnik vaccines, the same kind of stuff that they use in Moderna or Pfizer. Watch my previous videos, guys, or do your own research. So I was not that surprised, but it was still like, seriously, I didn't think that they will do those things in Russia. But they are doing this. So they also gonna have those, they already have those robots. Some of those robots are serving like baristas in Moscow. So you have those little robots in the booth, like a box in a station, and they are making drinks for you. So it's gonna happen in pretty much every country, I think, ultimately. But then if you live in the 15-minute cities, for sure you're gonna have it. If you live in other areas, I don't know, guys, I don't know. What is this reality that we are experiencing? This is just insane. But let me know what you think. What do you think about those dogs and about those robots? And have you maybe already encountered any of those robots at some airports? Let me know. I believe that the countries like Qatar, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and again, maybe in Singapore, maybe now in China, you're gonna see. So let me know if you had any experience with those already. What do you think? The links will be down below in the description box. Thank you so much for watching. If you appreciate the content, hit the thumbs up. It's free of charge and it helps with the algorithm, and subscribe to my channel. If you choose to support my work, the best way is to join my Patreon, locals, or donate on PayPal. And if you have Instagram, make sure to follow me there. It's AnyaK_44. And with this being said, lots of love. And remember, we are the leading edge and we are saving humanity. And I see you in another video. Bye, everyone.